ヒーロー D シリーズ
D シリーズ
ディスティニーデストロイです。
D タイム
It's D タイム。
Destiny Hero Plasma is one of those rare cards that you get every once in a blue moon where it only gets better and better and better over time, something like a pot of greed. And judging from the newer trends of Cyberstorm Access, I think Destiny Hero Plasma alone just might be enough. Michael Bowden, back here again, and I am your host, Destiny Hero Mike. Follow me on all of social media, by the way, very active, got all sorts of awesome stuff popping off on the socials. And welcome back to D Time! We're here, baby. As always, D Time, and in more ways than one. And as always, I like to give a thank you to both older and newer subscribers. You guys are great for helping this channel climb and grow to the juggernaut that we all know it could be. But also, most importantly, special shout out, special card for the D Time members. Thank you guys so much. As of yesterday, we just restarted our tiers. We just restarted the new pricing. So if you want to join, you want to check that out, go ahead and hit the join button below this video and find out what it's all about. Really appreciate you guys there. For today's topic, I really want to talk about Destiny Hero Plasma, a very, very important card this format, especially for its hero players. No one's talking about skill drain. No one's talking about just the OG trap card skill drain. No one talks about, some even are saying it should be limited, or it should go to 2, or sometimes even outright banned. It is a disgusting, unfair floodgate when you put it in the right deck. Now, I'm not even talking about a one-sided macrocosmos. We could say the same for macrocosmos. I'm not even talking about our Dark Law, okay? That pretty much shuts down a lot of this format. But Destiny Hero Plasma himself just shuts it all down. For those who aren't familiar, Destiny Hero Plasma, what he does is, as long as he's faceable in the field, and keep in mind, this is not an activated effect, and I'm going to point that out why that's very important. But as long as he's face-up on the field, your opponent's face-up monster effects are negated. They can activate, but they are negated. And then his other effect, he can target a monster that they control, and he could go and equip it to himself and gain half of its attack. But that's not the important effect, which is really good. It is field removal, it is spot removal. But the main important effect is the skill drain effect, and it just is going to shut everything down in the format. And there are a few key cards that I really do want to point out. If you take a look at a first place heavy samurai deck, okay, super heavy samurai deck, and we have our guy, the Wakashi, I think that's his name, the new pendulum monster, who is a problem. He's the one card problem starter. And we saw that this deck won. We see that this deck is a problem. But if you really stop and look at the deck, it has no real spot removal. Some may be maining kaiju, some might not be maining kaiju. But if you look at the main deck, it's all monster. Plasma's weakness traditionally is spell cards. So if you look at it as, they don't play any spell cards. They don't play something like an Imperm. They have a Veiler, but that can only work on the opponent's turn. Plus, with something like a D-Force, it's not going to be able to target Plasma. But this guy here that you see, where my mouse is, where my cruiser is, he has an on-field effect, and that's not going to fly under a Destiny Hero Plasma. He can activate in the spell trap card zone as a pendulum effect, but then when he hits the field, because he then special summons himself, then he goes bonkers upon special summon. And he goes to summon another super heavy samurai from the deck. That is his effect, I believe, to get things started. And Plasma just shuts that down, man. And again, they don't have, spell cards. They're not using spell cards to really power through Destiny Hero Plasma that easily. And then they have, and all their effects, all their primary important effects are on-field monster effects. So I thought about that. Yeah, there is Joel and Lockbird. There is Joel and Lockbird, but we're able to play through that. We're able to bait out a Joel and Lockbird if played correctly, if we have a Joel and Lockbird in mind, and we're able to still summon a Plasma through a Joel and Lockbird if played correctly, if that makes any sense. Especially if you're playing something like a D-Force, and that's just going to be auto scoop. They're not going to be able to really play through just a Plasma. I'm not even talking about Dark Law. Dark Law obviously hurts this deck. It does, but Destiny Hero Plasma, which is a set play. He's very easy to summon in the hero deck. He's very easy to summon in the hero deck. So yeah, that's gonna shut this deck down. And now you look at something like the Purely deck, and everything that's important is an on-field starter. Not being able to get such a thing is gonna really hurt them. Just think about it. Okay, you guys see that they're playing Droll, but what if we play through that Droll? What if they don't open it, and or Droll is not enough, and we still end with a Plasma on board? What do? And you guys saw, you see that they're maining both decks remaining the Nibiru, but we have ways to play through that. If you look at my Wake Up Your Destiny line, we have ways to straight up just disrespect Nibiru and punish him for summoning Nibiru. So go ahead and refer back to that video. Heroes can't play through Nibiru. Heroes are weak to Nibiru. No, go back and watch my video. You've been living under a rock. We have Wake Up Your Elemental Hero now, combination with Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. So these things are now possible to really play through and punish Nibiru. But imagine punishing a Droll, whether we cross out it or they don't draw it, or we just we have the call by or something to that effect, or just even playing through the Ghost Ogre. Imagine doing that. Imagine us being able to play through these cards and punish them for it, and then just drop that Plasma after all is said and done. How do they play through it? Their main card is the new Lily. That's an on-field effect. So is the Purely. That's an on-field effect. Everything else in here is weak. If you look at this, is just an example. We're just using top decks as an example. There's no spot removal. Even if you weren't playing something like a D-Force, even if you chose not to play a D-Force, they can't out it. They can link up, they can rank up all they want. It's going to be negated. Now, again, so they have a Towers. The Purely, they have XYZ Towers. Forget his name, but I am going to throw the card up here on the screen, and it reads that it is unaffected by, I believe, the opponent's activated card effects. Plasma does not activate. He is a continuous card effect. He doesn't activate. So whether you're going first is GG, or you're going second and you manage to summon him onto the field somehow, I mean, it's going to be really not going to be the easiest to get through their bounce effects, through the amount of times that they can bounce. But let's say that you do, and you drop that Plasma. That's it. Yeah, so much for the Towers effect. And by the time they start bouncing stuff, the Towers unaffection is going to be gone, because it needs to have 5 material. So I mean, that's not really I guess that big of a factor. But Plasma is Plasma. You really can't. It's going to be really hard to out that guy. They don't and if you notice, they're not playing cards like Impermanence, stuff like that. They're not playing spot removal, field removal, board breaker, stuff like that will really just run over the Plasma. Or I'm not even in this list. I don't even see a Kaiju, for example. So he just shuts them down. Then I'm even thinking about something like the new branded deck, when they come out, or when they get the new variants, they get the new fusion and the new tuner, the Cartasia monster. Those are on field effects. So when they branded fusion, say we don't even have to have an Ash. Let's say we go first, we didn't open up Ash, and we summon a Plasma, and we have it with protection with DPE, or he's under a D-Force where he's big and beefy. They go branded fusion. Well, Lebellion is a very important step, I would assume, in that deck. Lebellion's effect is negated, and the rest of their turn is that's just kind of it. They're just not going to be able to get an effect. He just turns everything off. And I know that Branded have a hard time with skill drain. So just imagine a searchable skill drain, walk-in skill drain as the default setup. It's just default inboard every game. Nibiru, no Nibiru, we don't care. It doesn't matter. We can play through that if we play properly. So Plasma alone covers at least 3 decks this format. It covers at least 3 decks alone this format, and they're not going to have the easiest time playing around it. A lot of these decks, even without a D-Force, he's a problem. And your hand traps aren't going to always be there. Yeah, it's an extensive amount of hand traps. It's oppressive in terms of they're playing Ghost Ogre, they're playing Joan Lockbird, and it's oppressive in that respect. But I believe that Destiny Hero Plasma inboard, that's the way to go. I think, yeah, I love Dark Angel. We summon Dark Angel where it's applicable in the right matchup. Like, it's still a really good alternative in the Branded Despia match, especially if you're afraid of Super Poly. But I really believe that Destiny Hero Plasma is the way to go. So therefore, I might revamp you guys saw my recent deck list and everything without the D-Force and all that, and the Destiny Heroes, the Access Destiny Heroes. But I might go back to a variant of that and focus on ways of just playing around Droll. The goal is to play around Droll and summon a Plasma inboard every game, default setup. Every time I end, you're looking at a Plasma, and you better be on we saw what they're maining, and even the super heavy samurai is going to get it the worst because they're all monsters. So all monsters need to summon, and they all need to have an effect to resolve to really start picking things up, and they're not going to be able to do that efficiently. And then we saw with the Purelies, to even get started, they need a Lily. You know, they need the Purely. They need the XYZs to even get going. And Plasma says no, they don't have any real spot removal. Really, they're really weak to, even if I were to skip over even if I were to flip over just the trap card skill drain, and they don't have an out to it, that's it. They can't really play through a skill drain. So the fact that we have a walking searchable skill drain, that should be our inboard every single game where we can. Every game, doesn't matter. Going into post Cyberstorm Access, I think Destiny Hero Plasma is the way. He shuts down, I think, the entire meta. Especially where D-Force is concerned. And also, we saw that Runic is kind of not being played, and that's the main spot removal that hurts Plasma, but if that's not really being played as much, and in combination with D-Force, that's going to be a problem. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think. I hope this was informative. I've still been brainstorming on this format. I haven't been in competition for a while. I cannot wait to test this out. It's going to be really fun. I really appreciate you guys. Let me know what you guys are going to be doing. Let me know what you guys think of this. I really don't think all is lost, and I don't think it's as bad as we thought it might be. But only time will tell. Love you guys. Catch you guys in the next one.